This is the plaintiff, Aquila Vasquez. She says the defendant, her stepdaughter, owes her money because she got herself into financial trouble and she came to her rescue. She can't seem to get the defendant to pay her back in full, and family or no family. She's owed $1,081.28 and is suing for just that today because she wants her money back. This is the defendant, Angelique Vasquez. She says she really doesn't like the plaintiff and has always kept her distance because she can't be trusted. She was paying the plaintiff on installments like they agreed, but one day she demanded payment in full, and that wasn't their deal. The woman then shut her cell phone off. That wasn't right to do, and now that she's split with her father, she drags her into court? Please. She's accused of taking a step in the wrong direction.
All parties, please, as you're ready. Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor. You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Aquila Vasquez,
Yes.
you are the stepmom of Angelique, is it Angelique?
Yes.
Vasquez?
Yes.
All right, now, are you still with her father?
We are separated in the
Okay, and
process
who's the
of getting a
gentleman with
divorce.
Imajuan Brewer, I'm her son.
You're her son, okay. All right, so how long were you married, or how long have you been with her father?
Since 2011.
All right, so did you two have a good relationship?
It was a rocky relationship.
Okay. Nonetheless, at some point you needed money, and she's the person who you went to, right?
I went to her for financial advice, and then I ended up borrowing money, yes.
Okay. Now, what was the financial advice that you needed from her?
Well, I had gotten to like some debt problems. IRS had sent me a letter saying I owed them back taxes. I had some credit card payments that I had issues with. And at the time, I knew she was like a person who knew how to handle.
She was the only financially stable adult in your life to turn to.
Yes.
Well, so you knew who to pick, so that's good.
Yes.
But now, when you say you owed the IRS back taxes, is that from not filing income tax returns?
I'm not sure. I think I filed wrong. It was my first time filing, really. I didn't know how to put one or two. I was kind of confused, and then they said I owed them back.
One or
on
two
it.
What? Dependents?
Yeah. No, one or two.
Exemptions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was unsure how to do that. So I went
All
to
right.
her.
Okay, so how much money did she loan you?
She loaned me $1,100 altogether.
Is that accurate?
$1,150.50.
Does that sound right?
Yes.
All right. And when does that happen?
That was in June 2018.
And how did you loan that to her? You handed her the cash?
No, I put it on a credit card, and then I applied for another credit card that had a 0% interest rate for 15 months, and then I transferred that balance to...
Oy, okay, wait, my head hurts. All right.
Okay.
So you put it on a credit card. That means you paid off what?
I paid off an IRS bill for her, as well as, I believe, a couple other.
All right, now that credit card was in your name.
Yes.
And so what you did was you transferred the entire balance of that credit card to a no-interest credit card?
Yes.
Including money that you owed on that credit card?
Yes.
All right, so that goes to a no-interest credit card. So that was a good move for you financially, obviously, as well as for her, because now how long was it going to be no interest?
For 15 months.
Really?
15 months, yes.
15 months?
15 months.
No matter what you owed?
Yes.
Wow, that's either great or terrible, depending on your spending habits. So what happens? She's paying off. What is the agreement the two of you reach on how she's going to pay this amount off?
Initially, she was going to pay $300 in 4 months. And then in July, she texted me and said that she wasn't able to do that she would pay $127.50 every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Over the course of 6 months.
Okay.
And I said, that's fine. If you need to take a little bit more time, that's okay, because I put it on a credit card that had 0% interest.
Right.
But she said she could pay it off in 6 months. And
Did she?
She did not.
All right, and then what happened? We're talking about July of 2018.
July, yes.
So when did she stop paying?
She stopped paying in November of 2018, but the payments weren't what she had agreed to.
What did she start doing instead?
She started paying like $100, then maybe $20, then $50.
All right, so all total, how much does she owe of the original $1,100 debt in principle. We'll talk about anything else.
$296.
Okay, does that sound right to you?
Yes.
All right, now let's talk about a Disney family trip. What happened on a Disney family trip? According to her, she loaned you $80 for that and you were supposed to pay her back and you didn't.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I have our text messages, and I had asked her how much it was, and she said, "Did you think you had to pay for it because you don't?" So I thought
let
I
me
didn't have
see
to pay
that.
for it, but
Okay, so there's some text here in December of 2018, and you say, did you think you needed to pay for the Disney? And she says, no, I was comparing it to how much I paid when I went to spring break. I think I paid more. And you said, oh, okay. So what is she talking about? But this isn't $80, this is $500. What is she talking about?
So I paid for the family to go to Disneyland, not to San Diego. Each person purchased their own San Diego pass. And so she owed $80 for the pass, not for
What's a
Disneyland.
San Diego pass?
It's a pass so you can go to the zoo, you can go to Legoland.
Oh, so it has nothing to do with the actual Disney trip.
No.
So yes, this doesn't show you don't owe the 80 for San Diego. Now, the next thing that's being discussed is the phone, and that's the big ticket item here. So what's going on with the phone?
So she stopped paying for the phone in, I believe, October of 2018, October, November-ish.
How much was the phone per month?
She paid $90, and that was towards the bill as well as the cost of the phone.
Okay.
So when she stopped paying for the loan, she also had stopped paying for the family plan.
Which was when? December?
November. November was when she stopped. I
And then the
believe
family
last
trip was in
payment.
December?
Yes.
Okay, that's awkward. So why did you stop paying?
well, I have a payment from November that I paid her $100 and then $20. I
Yeah, but
forget
you know
why.
that's not the arrangement, right?
but I have the history. Oh yes, I know.
Okay,
I
so
have the
in
history.
December you go on the family trip and there's an awkward moment.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Well, whenever we've taken multiple family trips, and whenever we do it, it never really goes smoothly. There's always like an altercation.
Why should you be any different than the rest of the planet?
Right.
But go ahead.
There's always like an altercation specifically regarding her. I have nothing against her. Like, she's my brother's mother and she's my dad's wife. I'll always respect her. I just never really had an interest in her personality just because she seems very like, I did this for you, so you must do this for me, or throwing things back in your face that you told her in confidentiality. And so I just never wanted to get too close to her, but of course, like I said, I always respected her because she's married to my father and she does all these nice things for me, which she doesn't have to, and I will always respect her for that and thank her for that. But in the trip, she was speaking to my dad while I was there and not speaking to me directly, saying some people on this trip are ungrateful, disrespectful, don't appreciate what we do for them, act like they don't even want to be here. I was happy to be there. I literally have never been to Disneyland my whole life. That was the second time. But she felt that I was disrespectful because I wasn't super involved, or maybe I wasn't up to par with what she wanted, but I was present, I was there, I was happy to be there. But she seemed upset, and then probably me being late, which was my own fault. I don't even know sure why I was late. I had so much debt piling up then, which she did help me with that. She told me every month $127.50 every 2 weeks, like she said, and then she helped me with how to plan out how to pay back all my debt as well that she couldn't cover for me.
Right, none of which you abided by. Right? So first you got yourself in trouble by getting into debt. Then
Yes.
she gave you this whole big plan.
Yes.
And then you said, I can't afford that after you had agreed to it. And then she said, okay, how about this plan?
Yes.
And then so she knocked it down. It's going to take you longer, but that's fine.
Yes.
So she's not exactly an evil stepmother. She's kind of,
No.
right. And then you didn't do that either. Why didn't you keep paying?
Well, I was going to pay her in December, but then the awkward situation. I was going to be late. I did plan on paying her late. I will be honest on that because we were going on the trip and I had money to save. And I even told her right before the trip, after this trip, I really can't take any more trips because I can't afford it. I should be saving up for my debt that I owe.
Well, she was paying for the trip. What was it you couldn't afford?
Just food. She was not
Okay.
going to pay for my food. Like if I
You got to
wanted
eat
things,
anyway. How are you going to? I guess you're
yeah,
out. Okay.
Certain things like that, like just
Sure.
little things, like if I wanted my own souvenirs, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I got paid every 2 weeks, so just to hold me over. And then she did contact me after the trip and say, well, these are your 3 options. You're going to get off the plan either way, but I have the text messages of that.
Off the what?
And
The telephone plan?
Yeah, off the plan.
How
So
long had it been since you paid for your telephone?
probably after that, maybe a week or two, I still was like, haven't paid her yet.
All right.
'Cause I was still figuring it out.
How old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay. Oh, she's just a baby. All right. Is your mother around and alive?
Yes.
Do you have a good relationship with your mother and your father?
Yes, I do.
Do they help you financially at all?
They do not actually help my own mother financially, so
Okay. Who are you living with right now?
I live with my mother.
Okay, so you're not paying rent.
I am.
You are paying rent.
Yes.
All right. Stop spending. You know,
Yes.
do you have children?
I do not.
Okay, that would be really bad right now,
Yes,
right?
it would be.
Okay, so I'm just throwing that out there.
It would be.
You know. So you end up, how late is she on the phone payment when you decide to cancel the phone?
A month and a half.
And you're nodding. Okay. So you cancel the phone and
I suspended the phone, actually.
you
I hadn't
suspended the
canceled.
phone, hoping what? That she'd pay and you
That
wouldn't
she-
have to cancel it.
Right.
When did you finally cancel the phone?
So I just moved
You
it.
suspended it for how long?
I suspended it for 30 days or so.
And then what happened after 30 days?
And then I moved the balance over so that I could just pay the balance myself.
What's moved the balance over?
So in order to take the line off the phone, you have to move whatever is left on one line to another line.
Okay.
So the
you
560
moved the
moved-
balance over, and what was the balance when you moved it over?
$560.
Show me proof of that. And then the last thing that you are suing for is additional interest payment on the credit card because eventually the 15 months expire.
Right.
Now, you haven't paid anything in 2019 or 2020, right?
I did pay in 2019, yes.
What'd you pay?
And I paid her $127 in June, paid her $50 in July, I paid her $120 in August. In September, I did not pay. In October, I paid $100. November, I paid $100. December, I missed a payment, so on January 10th of this year, I paid her $200 to try to make up for being late.
Okay. And you acknowledge those payments? That's what
Yes.
brings it down to $290. When did the credit card interest start to kick in?
November 2019.
Okay. Now, there is a balance that is not only her balance, right?
Correct.
Her balance is $296. Your balance is $4,000 something.
Correct. However, it's
And that's the financially stable person in your life. Because that sounds like a really high balance to carry on a credit card. They're going to be punishing you every month.
Well, so there's two different things here. There's the interest that is a regular credit card interest, and then there's a transfer balance interest. So the $4,000 is from trips we've recently taken. Well, not her, but with her dad and our other child.
Okay, there are
so that's
penalties associated on the card,
Yes.
right? But the penalties, most of them, like you have the vast majority of the balance.
No, I don't. So I paid off what was transferred. It was only $2,000 that was transferred from this card. So my part is paid off. It was her part that wasn't paid off.
I'm sorry. Show me, when do you say that it all kicked in? November of 2019?
Yes.
Let me see the statements from November of 2019 until today.
This shows December.
I-
shows-
in my world, statements are many, many pages. What are you showing?
Well, I'd show that I didn't print out everything.
right, let me
I just
see.
printed out those.
You're showing me an interest rate. That doesn't tell me how much of the card is yours and how much of the card is hers.
There's one of them that has what the interest was when it kicked in.
No, you don't seem to understand me. I don't take litigants' word for it about how much she owes and how much you owe. I want to see the statements because they tell me how much of this balance is hers and how much of it is yours and what the relative proportions are. I mean, we're literally wasting this kind of time on $100 and something when what we should be talking about is why you guys have such a bad relationship. But I'm going to ask you for the last time to show me the statements so that I can see how much of it is yours and how much of it is hers. I don't just trust a litigant who just walks into my courtroom and you say, trust me, Judge, this chunk is hers, this chunk is mine. No, show me the statements. And while she's looking for that, I would like to hear from you. Because this is a situation where, although you may have a great relationship with your other two parents, the person you had to turn to for help was her. Your father didn't help you, your mother didn't help you. In fact, you're helping your mother. So, have you guys talked
Yeah. Yes, we talked through emails in 2020. We talked recently.
about the debt? Yeah,
Yes,
I
in
meant
general,
really
no.
talked. Have you guys seen each other? Do you visit over there? What's your relationship been like? Why aren't you looking for statements?
I have it right here.
Let me see.
The last time I really saw her physically in person and spoke to her was when she lost her grandmother, because that was, something out of control. And she recently lost her uncle as well. So I just felt the need to reach out and be there for her for that.
How were you? How did you reach out, and how were you there for her for that? I guess I'm asking. Did you see each other personally, or you just sent her a text saying I'm so sorry? Or?
I went to the funeral.
Okay.
With them.
And
with the
how
entire
did it
family.
go between you two at the funeral? Did you?
I mean, it was.
Did you walk
everything-
up to her? Did you hug her? Did you give her a kiss? Did you tell him? How did it?
Yes, I
Like, what's the
told her.
relationship between you two now?
I told her I'm sorry. I put it all to the side. We've never really like had confrontation or anything, any bad blood.
Okay,
really.
you're mad that she's decided to come to court. Why? You know you owe her
Because-
money. You just
No,
feel like
it's-
that's another level?
I agree because I feel like why would I avoid paying you? Because
Well, you've
we will
avoided. I'm
always-
sorry. Why would you avoid paying her? Is a very
Yes,
good question because you
yes.
have avoided paying her. This
Yes,
stuff was supposed to be
that's
paid
true.
off in 3 months. Then it was
Yes.
supposed to be paid off in 6 months.
Yes.
We are here 2 years and something later, honey.
Yes.
So you have avoided paying her. Now you may not. You may have avoided paying her because you're struggling or whatever else. But the whole idea was I'm trying to become more financially responsible. So if you're spending money on hair salons and nail salons and trips and clothes and everything else, then you're not being more financially responsible because the first thing that has to happen is the debt, right? So why are you mad that she has come here?
Because I feel like it was something we could have talked about together. I mean, I've confided in her a lot of the situations that have happened to me in the past that have prevented me from paying her. I mean, I've changed jobs drastically. I work part-time now. I hardly work at all. I have to pay my mom half my paycheck. The nails and everything. I get makeup for free at my job because I work for Sephora. And
Ooh.
the nails, honestly, my boyfriend is super helpful. He pays for my nails. He paid for all the trips
I mean,
to
that
LA.
was just an example. I'm
Oh,
just
yes.
saying that in
Oh,
all,
yes.
when there's a month and a half that you don't pay, that's not good for the
Yes.
person you owe the money to because it
agree.
looks like a slap in the face.
I agree.
And when there's 3 or 4 months that you don't pay, that is multiple slaps in the face to the person you owe money to. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, once again, you're still not showing me statements.
That's the first page of the December
No,
statement.
you keep saying you're showing me statements, but you're not. You're showing me the first page of December statement. It has an $8,000 balance, and only $300 of it is hers.
I'm only asking for November and December's interest, not interest.
Why should she pay all of the interest?
I'm not asking for all of it. I calculated
How did you calculate it, though? It's so high. I don't know how you calculate it.
$296 on a 25.4, whatever the interest rate is, times the $296.
Okay, that's where you go wrong. That is an annual percentage rate, not a monthly.
And then I
percentage.
divided that, though, and then it was divided into 2 months.
Then how could, where is there a
So I'm
world?
only asking for
Stop and listen to
$145.
me. Exactly. On 300, you're asking for 50% of it as interest. Don't you understand that that can't be?
For
All
2
I'm-
months.
Yes, 2 months.
Okay, so
Do
maybe
you
I
live in a world
miscalculated.
where $300 is going to cause $150 interest in 2 months? That's not the real world. What you did was you made a mistake, and that's a financially responsible person because you made a mistake, and instead of 26% per year, you did it, and you say that I calculated that and I had to go. No, you didn't, because then you wouldn't come up with $145.28. What I come up with is $25.04. I'm ordering you to pay the following. You acknowledge. What is your defense on the phone?
Well, I have the text messages. She did give me 3 options. I did tell her which option I wanted to do. We talked about it for a while, and then it was just, she did suspend the service like she said, and I said if I pay this month, can I keep it for 1 more month to figure out how to pay for another service plan?
At that point, it was already $560 just for your phone?
Yes, the remaining balance, because I was leasing the phone, it wasn't mine. I was still paying off
Okay,
the
so
phone and the
that's
bill.
what's left, just paying the phone.
Yes, paying the
All
phone
right, go
off.
on.
And then I did see my other options, and I couldn't. No one was willing to give me like a
Okay,
good deal.
these are all you problems. They're not her
Yes.
problems. I mean, she has been patient. You have to admit that
yes.
she has been patient.
Of course.
All right, you owe the $560. You owe the $296.
Okay.
You owe the interest that I've calculated. And you owe the $80 for the San Diego pass, right?
Okay.
You owe the plaintiff a judgment in the amount of $961.04. I am entering a judgment for that amount. Good luck, folks.
So, after all is said and done, the plaintiff gets the defendant gets a judgment against her of $961. You understand all the arithmetic, right?
Yes, I do now.
So, what about this relationship between the two of you? What do you think's going to happen?
Well, I'll continue to respect her as who she is, and hopefully we can just look past it.
Think you can work it out a little bit?
Yes, I would like to.
Good enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, what about you, Ms. Vasquez? Do you think you can work this disagreement out between you guys?
You know, in a text message, she said she was never, ever going to talk to me again in life. And she is my youngest son's sister. And so I hope that at some point we'll be able to get along, but I'm not sure.
Time will tell.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Okay,
you.
you must sign some documents. Harvey?
Doug, look, we talked about this before. Loaning money to a relative is so difficult because if something goes south, you still have to live and interact with that person. All the more reason, get something in writing, even if it's an informal text or email. It will save the relationship.